No one expected this, yet here we are. The Pittsburgh Steelers have shaken up their roster in a way that has fans buzzing and analysts scrambling. Moves that came down to the very last minute, decisions that could shift the team's momentum for the rest of the season. If you're a Steelers fan, what you're about to hear matters right now. Stay locked in, because every detail counts. Before we break down the latest developments, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and press the bell icon, so you never miss any breaking Pittsburgh Steelers updates. Now let's get into the news. The Steelers have made several significant roster moves over the past week, adding 2 players, activating another, and letting go of 2 members of the squad. And it all starts with the biggest change of them all. Pittsburgh has officially activated quarterback Will Howard to the main roster after his stint on injured reserve. Howard returned to practice back on October 22nd, which opened a 21-day window for the team to decide his fate. The deadline hit on Wednesday. The Steelers had to choose: keep him sidelined or elevate him to the 53. They chose to bring him back, but that activation came with a cost. To clear a roster spot, the Steelers released Surman. For most of the season, Surman had been working on the practice squad, until last week when he was signed to the active roster after running out of game day elevations. Pittsburgh needed help on special teams, and he filled that need, but the numbers caught up with him. More developments are on the way, so stay with me. The Steelers found themselves up against the clock, and with Will Howard's activation deadline arriving, the team had no choice but to make room. That's why Surman was let go, opening the spot necessary to elevate Howard to the 53-man roster. Howard had been sidelined since August 28th after suffering a hand injury in training camp, an issue that kept him out of the entire preseason. Now he's finally back in uniform, eager to get back into the rhythm of football. Even if his opportunities are limited at first, he's determined to make every snap count as he works his way into the quarterback picture. But the story didn't end with Surman's release. After spending time on the practice squad, earning a brief promotion, and then being cut loose, he's now returned to Pittsburgh. The Steelers brought him back because a practice squad opening became available when the New York Giants claimed wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins. With that vacancy, Surman was re-signed and is once again part of the organization. That means fans could see him elevated on game days again, especially for special teams work. And since he rejoined the team after briefly being off the roster, his activation window has essentially reset, giving Pittsburgh more flexibility in how they use him over the coming weeks. Now, the next move the Steelers made is an even more intriguing one: the addition of Asanti Samuel Jr. to the active roster. I haven't talked about this signing yet, but it carries real weight for the team's immediate future, especially considering he begins his stint on the practice squad. The moment Asanti Samuel Jr. arrived, it became obvious this wasn't just a quiet practice squad pickup. Pittsburgh desperately needs stability at corner, and this move feels like the first step toward strengthening a position that has been stretched thin all season. Darius has been battling one injury after another, week after week. Every game seems to bring another setback, and with age catching up to him, the Steelers simply can't rely on him the way they once hoped. That's left the team shuffling through options: James Pierre one week, Brandon Eccles the next, constantly patching holes in the secondary. So bringing in Samuel, even if it's technically to the practice squad, is clearly a move with bigger intentions. The expectation is obvious. He's headed for game day elevations and eventually a full-time spot on the active roster. What makes this signing even more interesting is the story behind it. After recovering from a spinal injury, Samuel met with several NFL teams who were interested in him. But he chose Pittsburgh for one specific reason: the surgeon who performed his procedure works with the Steelers. For Samuel, that connection meant trust. For Pittsburgh, it meant confidence that his medical situation was fully understood by their own staff. Both sides knew exactly what they were getting into, and both felt comfortable moving forward. Samuel wanted a place that needed him. The Steelers wanted a corner they believed could help immediately. The fit made sense. Looking back at his career, Samuel entered the league as a second-round pick by the Los Angeles Chargers in the 2021 NFL Draft. During his 4 years there, he started 47 of the 50 games he played, even though last season was cut short due to injuries, limiting him to just 4 appearances. His overall production tells the story of a playmaker: 6 interceptions, 37 passes defended, and a fumble recovery through those seasons. Now he's a Pittsburgh Steeler, and the opportunity in front of him couldn't be clearer. Samuel brings something the Steelers desperately value: game-changing plays. He's the type of corner who doesn't just cover, he disrupts. Pittsburgh's defense has always thrived on turnovers. They might bend, they might give up yards, but their philosophy is simple. Take the ball away, and everything else takes care of itself. In that sense, Samuel fits their identity almost perfectly. And when you start imagining what this cornerback room could look like if things come together, the picture becomes even more interesting. Joey Porter Jr. already looks like the future at CB1. Slide Samuel into that second corner spot, and suddenly the outside coverage becomes a real strength. Add Jalen Ramsey into the mix, whether he's working the slot or patrolling as a hybrid safety, and the secondary starts to take on a whole different level of versatility. Darius Slay, with the injuries and inconsistency this season, might transition into more of a rotational role, giving the team depth without forcing him into heavy snaps. In a perfect scenario, everyone would be healthy and playing at their peak, but that's not the reality the Steelers are dealing with right now. Adjustments are necessary, and Samuel allows them to make those adjustments with confidence. What makes this move even more promising is Samuel's age. At only 26, he's entering the heart of his prime. If he regains his full form after a year away, Pittsburgh may have found a long-term solution to a position that has needed stability for far too long. Strengthening the cornerback unit doesn't just help the defense. It reshapes the entire identity of the team going forward. If Samuel returns to the level he once played at, Pittsburgh may have landed one of the most meaningful additions of their season. The Steelers have been searching for help at corner for months, and he's been waiting for the right moment to join a team that believed in his recovery. Now both sides finally meet at the perfect time. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Asanti Samuel Jr. Before we wrap up, there was one more roster change worth noting. After bringing Surman back to the practice squad, the Steelers made room by releasing defensive back Darrick Forrest. He was added earlier when the team was dealing with several injuries at safety. Keanu Neal went down, then Chuck Clark missed time, and Juan Thornhill had already been released. For a moment, it looked like Forrest might get a chance to step onto the field, but that opportunity never arrived, and now his brief run in Pittsburgh ends without a single snap. So here's the full rundown. The Steelers added Asanti Samuel Jr. and brought Surman back. They released Surman earlier in the week and later moved on from Darrick Forrest. And of course, they activated Will Howard from injured reserve, finally giving him the chance to take real practice reps and grow alongside Aaron Rodgers instead of watching from the sideline. Howard's activation might be one of the most exciting developments. He's been able to learn, observe, and stay mentally sharp, but now he gets to stand on the field, throw against this defense, and take steps toward proving whether he can be a real option for the franchise moving forward. Samuel's arrival adds hope to the secondary. Surman's return gives stability to special teams. Forrest's release is simply part of the business. Every move shapes the roster, and together they paint a picture of a team trying to strengthen every corner of the depth chart. That's the full breakdown of this week's additions, departures, and activations. Share your thoughts. Did the Steelers make the right calls, or would you have approached these moves differently?